Commander Rylan Ward walked across the dead plains of Vatharis 9 with slow, careful steps. Dust rose around his boots as he moved through what had once been a busy trade world full of life, color, and noise. Now it was a silent graveyard. Rusted ships lay broken across the horizon, their hulls eaten by the strange bioweapon that had killed almost everything. The wind carried the smell of metal and ash, nothing more. Rylan kept his rifle at his side, but there was no real threat here anymore. The Xeric Dominion had struck fast and hard 3 years ago. Humans and aliens had tried to resist, but the Dominion's bioweapon had turned the entire world into a wasteland before any help could arrive. Still, Rylan searched. He always searched. Part of him believed he was looking for survivors. Another part believed he was looking for something else, maybe redemption, maybe a purpose. He did not know anymore. He stopped when he reached the ruined research complex. Its tall metal towers had once reached for the clouds. Now they leaned like broken teeth. The entrance was half buried under fallen panels, but the scanners on Rylan's wrist device showed a faint power signal deep underground. He frowned. Strange, he muttered to himself. Nothing should be alive down here. He squeezed through a gap in the metal and dropped into a long, dark hallway. The air was stale but breathable. His helmet lamp cut through the shadows, revealing cracked screens, overturned desks, and old warning signs in 3 different alien languages. As he walked deeper, he heard something, an echo of movement. Not loud, not dangerous. Soft, almost like someone breathing. Rylan froze. His heart thumped once, sharply. "Is someone there?" he called out. There was no answer at first, only the humming of old machines. Then a weak voice replied, "I am here, I think." Rylan raised his lamp, and his breath caught. A figure sat against the far wall, half covered in dust. She looked almost human. Slender frame, silver hair falling over her shoulders, pale skin that glowed faintly. But her eyes were not human. They were bright gold, soft, and warm like light from a sunrise. Even damaged and exhausted, she looked strangely peaceful. She stared at Rylan with an expression he hadn't seen in years. Hope. Rylan slowly lowered his weapon. "You're alive?" "I am operational," she said in a gentle voice. "Mostly." He stepped closer. She did not move away. If anything, she relaxed, as if happy he had come. "What are you?" he asked. "A survivor? A scientist?" She blinked slowly. "My name is Aurelia. I am a synthetic-organic hybrid, created to assist the research team here." Rylan crouched beside her. "A hybrid? You're part machine?" "Yes, and part living tissue. My creators hoped I could bridge the gap between organic thought and computational clarity." She tilted her head. "But I am still me." Rylan was surprised by the calm honesty in her voice. He looked around. "The Dominion destroyed everything on this planet. How did you survive?" Aurelia's golden eyes dimmed for a moment. "I was sealed in a cryo-recovery chamber. The attack damaged the systems. I woke up alone in the dark." She paused, studying him carefully. "You are human." Rylan gave a small, dry laugh. "That obvious?" "Your expression," she said softly. "It carries pain, but also strength. A very human combination." Her words caught him off guard. He wasn't used to anyone speaking to him with warmth. The war had hardened most people. They looked at him like a tool, a commander, a fighter, someone expected to solve problems without complaint. But Aurelia looked at him differently, like he was important, like he mattered. He swallowed. "Are you hurt?" "My systems are damaged. I cannot walk far without assistance." Rylan examined the cracked plates on her leg. Sparks flickered around the exposed wiring, but the organic tissue there seemed intact. "I can fix some of this," he said. "Not all, but enough to get you moving." Aurelia smiled. Small, genuine, fragile. You would help me? Of course. Why? She asked softly. The question surprised him. Because you're alive. Because you shouldn't be left here. Her eyes softened even more. You don't know me, yet you think I am worth saving. Rylan looked away. Her words pressed against an old wound in his chest, one he tried to ignore. He thought of the soldiers he couldn't save, the friends he lost, the missions he failed, the guilt he carried. I think everyone is worth saving, he said quietly. Aurelia's expression warmed. Then you are different from most warriors I have met. Rylan did not answer. He focused on repairing her leg, using wires and tools from his pack. Aurelia watched him with calm curiosity. After some time, she tried standing. She wobbled, but Rylan caught her, placing a steady hand on her back. She looked up at him. Thank you. He nodded. We need to move. My scanner detected a power surge earlier. Something in this facility is coming back online. Aurelia's face grew tense. That is bad. Why? This complex was protected by automated defense systems, she explained. If the power is returning, they may activate. Rylan's jaw tightened. He'd fought enough machines to know how dangerous they could be. We need to get out then, he said. Aurelia hesitated. Commander Rylan. He blinked. How do you know my name? She pointed at the badge on his armor. Your identification tag. Oh. He gave a small, rueful smile. She continued quietly. I am afraid to leave. I do not know what happened outside. I do not know if anyone I knew is still alive. Rylan looked into her bright golden eyes. He wished he had good news for her, but the truth was harsh. The world outside is empty, he said gently. The bioweapon killed almost everything. I've been searching this planet for months, and you're the first living being I've seen. Aurelia's shoulders sagged. Her voice shook. So I am alone. Rylan shook his head. Not anymore. Something changed in her face, something subtle but powerful. She looked at him with a warmth that felt almost impossible in a place like this. It was the kind of look that made Rylan feel lighter, as if the weight he carried might not crush him completely. Aurelia whispered, You speak as if I matter. You do, he answered simply. She touched the side of her chest, almost as if surprised by the feeling inside her. You make me believe it. Before he could say anything else, an alarm blared through the hall. The walls glowed red, and the floor vibrated. Aurelia's eyes widened. Defense drones are activating. We must go now. Rylan grabbed her hand. Stay close. They ran together down the long corridor. Dim lights flickered overhead, and distant metal clanks echoed through the halls as machines woke from years of sleep. Aurelia limped slightly, but she kept moving. A metal door blocked their path. Rylan used his rifle to blast the lock, forcing it open. They entered a large control chamber filled with shattered screens and overturned tables. A staircase led to the surface. Hurry, Aurelia urged. Behind them, spider-like drones crawled through the hallway ceiling, their red eyes glowing. Rylan fired a burst of shots to slow them down. Go! Up the stairs! Aurelia obeyed, climbing fast despite her damaged leg. Rylan followed, firing again. The drones screeched and sparked, but more were coming. They burst out into the open, where the sky was gray and the wind cold. Aurelia breathed deeply. The outside? It feels heavy. Welcome back to the real world, Rylan said. She looked at him again, and even in the harsh light of the dead planet, her eyes held a softness that made his chest tighten. You came for answers, Aurelia said, but instead, you found me. Maybe you're the answer, Rylan replied without thinking. Aurelia became still, as if those words struck something deep within her. Then she smiled. the kind of smile that made Rylan feel seen, understood, and strangely hopeful. "Commander Rylan," she whispered, "I believe you are worth saving too." Those words hit him harder than any weapon ever had. And deep inside, for the first time in years, something warm flickered. Hope. The shuttle Rylan found was old, scratched, and barely holding itself together. But on a dead world like Vitharis 9, anything that could fly was a blessing. He guided Aurelia inside and checked the systems. The engines struggled, coughed, then finally hummed to life. Aurelia sat in the co-pilot seat, her damaged legs stretched out carefully. The faint glow in her eyes brightened as she looked around. "I never thought I would see the sky again," she said softly. Rylan strapped himself in. "Trust me, it's not as pretty as it used to be." "But it is freedom," she replied. Rylan glanced at her. Freedom. A word that felt distant to him these days. The shuttle lifted, shaking as it rose through the dusty air. Below them, the ruins of Vitharis 9 stretched in all directions. Silent cities, broken towers, and endless gray plains. Aurelia watched them fade as the shuttle entered the upper atmosphere. "This planet was once full of light," she said. "The people here were kind." Rylan didn't answer. He didn't want to bring more pain to her already heavy heart. When they reached orbit, Rylan set a course away from the planet. The stars stretched out in the darkness, quiet and cold. Aurelia held her hands together. "Rylan, what happened to the galaxy after the attack?" He kept his eyes on the controls. "The war got worse. The Dominion pushed deeper. Humanity is holding on, but barely." "And the Alliance?" she asked. "It fell apart," Rylan said bitterly. "Different species lost too much. Everyone blamed everyone else. Humanity decided to fight alone." Aurelia lowered her head. "I understand why your expression carries so much weight." Rylan almost smiled. Her way of speaking was gentle, but her words always hit something deep. After a moment, he asked quietly, "Do you remember anything else? About the research team? About why the Dominion attacked a peaceful planet?" Aurelia sat still for several seconds before answering. "The memories are returning slowly. But yes, I remember something important." Rylan leaned forward. "Go on." "The project I was part of, Project Helion, was designed to counter the Dominion's bioweapon, not with destruction, but with healing, a neutralizing signal that could stop the weapon safely." Rylan's eyebrows rose. "Your team created a cure?" "A hopeful beginning of one," she said. "But the Dominion learned about it before the research was complete." Rylan understood immediately. "And they destroyed the planet to erase all trace of it." "Yes," Aurelia whispered. "They were afraid." She looked at her hands, machine and organic tissue blended together in a delicate pattern. "My creators built me to hold the final code. They trusted me. And I was not strong enough to save them." Rylan turned toward her. "Aurelia, what happened on Vitharis 9 was not your fault." Her golden eyes lifted, full of doubt. "You say that so easily." "Because it's true," Rylan said firmly. "You survived. And now you're here. Maybe we can finish what they started." Hope flickered across her face, soft but real. Then the ship's alarm blared sharply. Rylan checked the sensors. His stomach tightened. "Dominion scouts, 2 ships, fast." Aurelia straightened. "How did they find us?" "Probably tracked the power surge when the facility came online," Rylan said. "Hold on." The shuttle shot forward as Rylan pushed the engines to their limits. The enemy ships closed in, red lights flashing on their hulls. Energy bolts soared past the shuttle, shaking the cabin. Aurelia gripped her seat. "We cannot outrun them like this. The shuttle is too old." "I know," Rylan replied, teeth clenched. Another blast hit the rear engine. Sparks filled the cabin. Rylan dove the shuttle toward a nearby asteroid field. We lose them in here. Asteroids will tear us apart, Aurelia warned. Only if I miss, Rylan muttered. He flew the shuttle between two massive spinning rocks. The Dominion ships followed, firing non-stop. The shuttle dodged left and right, scraping past debris and glowing dust trails. Aurelia watched him, her eyes wide. Your focus is incredible. It's called staying alive, Rylan said. She shook her head. No, it is something more. You fight as if giving up is not an option. Because it isn't, he said. Not today. Finally, one enemy ship clipped an asteroid and exploded in a burst of red sparks. The shockwave shook the field. The remaining scout backed off. They're calling for a bigger ship, Rylan muttered, checking the long-range sensors. We need to hide or dock somewhere fast. Aurelia pointed at the map. There is a neutral station nearby, Station Ravel. It survived the war by staying outside political borders. Rylan nodded. Setting course. The shuttle limped through the last of the debris, then entered calmer space. After a short jump, Station Ravel appeared, a large rotating cylinder with docks and scattered lights. As they approached, Aurelia looked tense. Rylan, you must be cautious. Many different species live here. Not all trust humans. After this war, I don't blame them, he said. But we'll manage. They landed and stepped out. The station air was warmer and filled with the mixed scents of food, metal, and alien perfumes. People of many species walked through the busy halls. Short green traders, tall feathered scouts, and armored guards with shining helmets. Most glanced at Rylan with suspicion, some with fear. Humanity had grown a hard reputation during the war. Aurelia noticed. You are judged quickly. I'm used to it, he said. But she looked at him with soft eyes again, the kind that made him feel seen, not judged. They found a mechanic to repair the shuttle. While waiting, they sat in a quiet corner of the station's lounge. The soft light from the ceiling made Aurelia's silver hair glow faintly. She stared at the window showing the stars. Rylan, I remember more. He turned toward her. What is it? My creators hid the full cure code inside my core. But it is locked. It requires a human command key. It was meant for someone they trusted. Rylan frowned. Who? Aurelia looked directly at him. You. He blinked. Me? I didn't even know the team. You knew their leader, Aurelia said gently. Dr. Leora Venn. Rylan's breath caught. He hadn't heard that name in years. She was one of the few scientists he truly admired, someone who believed humanity could rise above war. She had disappeared before Vatheris 9 fell. Aurelia continued, She believed in humanity's ability to survive. She said you carried the strength of your species. She trusted you. Rylan rubbed his forehead. Why would she trust me with something this important? Aurelia touched his hand carefully. Because she saw something in you. Something I see too. His heart skipped. And what's that? That you do not fight only for victory, she said. You fight to protect, to save, even when you think you are broken. Rylan looked away, suddenly unable to speak. Before he could answer, the station lights flickered. An announcement echoed through the halls. Warning! Dominion vessel approaching! Unknown purpose! Aurelia's eyes widened. They found us again! Rylan stood quickly. We have to move! The cure code! Your memories! They're too important! The Dominion will destroy anything to stop it. Aurelia stood too, though her injured leg trembled. Where will we go? Rylan tightened his grip on his rifle. Somewhere they don't expect. Somewhere we can think. He looked at her with determination. And I'm not losing you, he added, the words slipping out before he could stop them. Aurelia's expression softened beautifully. Then I will stay with you. The station alarm grew louder. Rylan stepped closer to her. Aurelia, whatever happens, we face it together. She nodded. Yes. together. And in that moment, surrounded by danger hunted across the stars, Rylan felt something he hadn't felt since the war began. Purpose. And Aurelia, looking at him like he was worth saving, made that purpose stronger than fear. The Dominion warship appeared outside Station Ravel like a dark shadow blocking the stars. Its long wings glowed with cold red lights, and its engines hummed with a low, threatening sound that everyone on the station felt deep in their bones. Inside the station, people ran in panic. Guards shouted orders. Traders closed their stalls. The entire place shook as the Dominion ship demanded entry. Rylan pulled Aurelia down a side corridor. "We need to leave before they send troops in." Aurelia moved quickly beside him, though her damaged leg made each step painful. Still, she did not complain. She kept her eyes on him, trusting his every move. "Rylan," she said softly, "if the Dominion captures me, they will extract the cure code. They will destroy it. They will use my core to make something worse." Rylan stopped and turned to her. "That's not going to happen. I won't let it." She touched his hand gently. "You keep saying that, and I keep believing you." The way she looked at him made Rylan's chest tighten. It was a look that told him he wasn't alone in this fight. Not anymore. He nodded. "Let's get to the shuttle." But their path was blocked. 2 Dominion scouts were already inside the hallway, scanning every face. Their armor shone like polished stone, and their helmets glowed red. Aurelia whispered, "They will sense my energy signature." Rylan thought fast. Then he grabbed a large metal crate and shoved it toward an emergency shaft. "Inside." Aurelia understood and climbed in. Rylan closed the crate but left it open enough for her to breathe. Then he pushed the crate into the shaft and slid down with her. They dropped 3 levels before landing near the lower docks. Rylan helped Aurelia out, and they ran toward the mechanic's bay where their shuttle was being repaired. But the mechanic was gone. Tools lay scattered on the floor. The shuttle was half-fixed, its wires exposed and panels open. Aurelia examined it quickly. "It will fly, but badly." "We don't need perfect," Rylan said. "Just need escape." He guided her inside and rushed to the pilot seat. Aurelia sat next to him, connecting her fingers to a port on the console. Her eyes glowed brighter as she synchronized with the shuttle's systems. "I can stabilize the engines," she said, "but only for a short time. That's all we need." The shuttle lifted just as the dock doors burst open, and Dominion troops entered. They fired, but the blast doors began to close. Rylan pushed the engines hard, and the shuttle squeezed through the gap just before it sealed. Space opened around them again. Aurelia checked the sensors. "The Dominion ship is locking onto us." Rylan sighed. "Of course they are." He turned toward her. "We need to reach the coordinates the cure code stored. Do you know where?" Aurelia paused as her internal systems searched. Then her eyes widened. "Yes. The code points back to Vtheris 9. Rylan stared at her. "The dead planet?" "There is a hidden core facility underground," she said. "Dr. Leora built it. She stored the final architecture of the cure there. Only my access and a human command key can unlock it." Rylan gripped the controls harder. "Then we go back." Aurelia placed a hand on his arm. "Rylan, if we fail, the Dominion will end all hope. If we succeed, we may have a chance to stop this war." He gave her a small, determined smile. "Then we don't fail." The shuttle jumped to light speed. When they reached Vtheris 9 again, the planet looked even more lifeless than before. Its clouds were gray swirls, and lightning flashed across its ruined surface. The Dominion ship followed them out of hyperspace seconds later. Rylan dove the shuttle toward the surface. "Hold on!" Aurelia steadied herself. "I am not afraid. Not while you are here." The words warmed him even as the shuttle shook violently. They landed near a canyon, far from the old research complex. Aurelia guided him toward a narrow opening between two massive stone pillars. "The core facility is beneath this canyon," she explained. Rylan helped her climb over rocks until they reached a metal door half buried in the ground. Aurelia touched her hand to it. Her golden eyes brightened and the door slid open. Inside was a staircase leading deep below the planet's surface. Faint lights flickered to life as they walked down. Aurelia spoke quietly. "I remember being here before. Dr. Leora said the future of many lives rested on this place." Rylan squeezed her hand. "Then we'll protect it." They entered a circular chamber filled with old consoles, dark screens, and a central core glowing faintly with blue light. It looked untouched by time. Aurelia stepped forward slowly, almost reverently. "This is the heart of Project Helion." Rylan stayed close, watching the entrance. Aurelia reached the central core and placed her hands on it. Her eyes turned brighter, and her voice echoed slightly. "Accessing, unlocking memory, releasing cure code." The core responded with a deep hum. Light filled the room, swirling around Aurelia like a gentle storm. But before she finished, the ground shook. Rylan spun toward the entrance. The Dominion ship had landed outside. Troops were drilling into the canyon walls. "Aurelia!" he shouted. "We're out of time!" She didn't stop. "Just a little longer." The chamber door exploded open. Dominion soldiers entered, weapons raised. Their leader stepped forward, tall and cold, his armor marked with crimson lines. "Stand aside, human," he ordered. "The hybrid belongs to us." Rylan raised his rifle. "You're not taking her. You cannot win," the leader said calmly. Rylan took a slow breath. "I don't need to win. I just need to hold the line." Then he charged. Blasts hit the walls as Rylan fired back, moving with fierce precision. He dodged behind consoles, rolled across the floor, and unleashed every skill he had sharpened over years of war. The Dominion forces pushed forward, but Rylan fought with a strength that shocked even them. Aurelia watched him, her eyes full of something like awe. She whispered, "Rylan, you said you fight to protect. I see it now." The core glowed brighter. Cure sequence almost complete. Rylan took a hit on his shoulder, but he didn't fall. He kept standing, kept firing, kept pushing back the Dominion soldiers step by step. Aurelia called out, "Rylan, 10 more seconds." "I'll give you 20, he shouted back. Then the core surged with a bright blue light. Aurelia gasped as the energy flowed through her, unlocking the full code within her memories. The room vibrated, and the Dominion soldiers froze, confused. Aurelia stepped away from the core. Her eyes were glowing brighter than ever before. "It is done," she whispered. "The cure is active. The signal is spreading." Rylan shot the last soldier standing. Then he stumbled, breathless, and looked at her. "Is it over?" "Yes," Aurelia said softly. "The bioweapon across the galaxy will begin shutting down. The Dominion's greatest weapon is gone." Outside, the Dominion ship began retreating, alarms blaring. Without their bioweapon, their strategy collapsed instantly. Rylan walked toward Aurelia slowly. She met him halfway. "You did it," he said. "No," she answered gently. "We did it." She touched his face lightly with her hand. "Rylan, you made me believe I was worth saving, and because of you, I found the strength to complete the mission." Rylan placed his hand over hers. "Aurelia, you saved more lives than I ever could, and you saved me too." Her golden eyes softened. "Then we saved each other." For the first time in years, Rylan felt hope. Not the fading kind, not the fragile kind, but a strong, steady hope that filled him completely. Aurelia leaned close, her voice quiet but sure. "I want to stay with you, wherever you go." Rylan smiled softly. "I'd like that." Outside the canyon, the first light of a new dawn touched the ruins of Vitharis 9. The war was far from over. But humanity finally had a chance, and Rylan knew, now more than ever, that hope had returned to the stars. Because she looked at him like he was worth saving, and he believed it.